Okay, let's now tackle recommender systems in more detail. This session is going to be a kind of a standalone session. There's not too much of a link with all the previous sessions, and it will be also our last lesson when it comes to shallow learning. After this one, we're going to discuss unsupervised learning. But first, recommender systems, and all of you have come across recommender system. Actually, most of you, 99% will come across recommender systems on a daily basis, especially when you use these websites. Netflix, Amazon, Lazada, YouTube, Facebook, but also Spotify, LinkedIn, all these use recommender systems. What are recommender systems? Well, it predicts the interest of a user for a certain item. Yeah? The item in the case of Netflix are movies. So Netflix will try to recommend movies to you. Yeah? Amazon, Lazada, the same. They will recommend products. If you buy one product, they will say other people that bought this product also bought these products. You will recognize that. YouTube, the autoplay feature, if the autoplay is on, YouTube will suggest the next video to you. And then of course Facebook, when you like stuff, this also has an impact. So, but why are recommender systems suddenly so popular? Because 10, 15 years ago, it was not that obvious. Yeah. So, well, it is because there's a win-win between the user and the vendor. What does the vendor want to do? He wants to upsell. He wants to sell you more product, and he wants to improve the customer experience to a level where you are loyal. Yeah? So that you always go back to them if you want to purchase something. And what is the benefit for the user? Well, for the user, he is presented relevant items in an era where there's an abundance of items. Yeah? This famous curve here outlines the popularity of an item versus the sales of that item per week. You see there's a few items that are very popular and that sell a lot, and there is the bulk of the items. Yeah? I mean, it's not maybe the bulk, but you see it's quite a significant amount of items, yeah, that actually you're not being confronted with. These are thousands of items. When you go to Amazon, most of the products are here. Yeah? So there you appreciate it when the vendor actually suggests to you an item that is far on the right that you never would come across. Yeah? Amazon, for example, Amazon sales, more than 30% of the sales comes from recommendations. Yeah. So now, what was the key trigger event for recommender systems? Well, that was the Netflix challenge in 2006. So what happened? The CEO of Netflix challenged the world and asked to develop a recommender system that did 10% better as what he had at that time. Yeah. And of course there was a lot of noise and puha, and Netflix also was very open with their data set. And there was 100 million ratings, 17,000 movies, and 500,000 users. Yeah. So it took people about 3 years to come up with that system. Yeah. So eventually they paid out the $1 million that they promised. Okay, so in the next session, we're actually going to work based on an example, a simple example, allowing me to explain to you what the basic workings are of the algorithm, how to do it. So we will use a problem statement, and we go specifically into a Netflix type of service, yeah, where you have movies that you can rent or stream via the internet. So we'll have 4 users, and we'll have 5 movies, 5 items. Yeah? These are the 4 people: Anna, Jeff, Liz, and Jim. And these are the 5 movies: Jaws, Titanic, Cape Fear, Pretty Woman, and King Kong. Okay? And what you see here is typically what you get or what Netflix sees. So people rate movies. Yeah, you have these 5 stars you can rate. Yeah, but usually people don't rate a lot. Yeah, so you have a lot of blank space in that matrix. This table we will convert into a matrix. Yeah, and there's a lot of blank spaces, and that means that we call this matrix sparse. Yeah. Now we have 4 rows and 5 columns. So this rating matrix is a 4 by 5 matrix. And there's gonna be a lot of dependencies. You will have a lot of people that rate the same way, or type of movies that get the same ratings. Yeah? So that means that in these columns and rows there are some dependencies. Maybe column 2 and column 5 will be the same column, and so on. Maybe if you add up column 1 and column 2, you have something which we see in column 4. Now these are dependencies. And dependencies mean that your matrix is going to be low rank. Now it's a technical term. If you don't understand it, don't worry. Let's continue. Now these ratings, how do we get these ratings? Or how does Netflix get the ratings? Well, usually they ask for it. They explicitly ask for it. They get it from implicit information, meaning your profile, your Facebook likes, your purchase history, your search history. I mean, there's a lot of ways that people can get implicit information from you to actually determine all these ratings. Yeah. So what is the goal? Well, the goal is basically to fill in the blanks. Sorry. Yeah? Or another goal could be you're not interested to complete the matrix. You're interested in a ranking. You can get a ranking of items to recommend to a specific user. Okay. So there's 2 main types of recommender systems. We'll have content-based systems and collaborative filtering systems. But you will also likely see a hybrid between these 2, because they both have their pros and cons. Okay, so let's start tackling content-based systems.